Obamacare is a direct attack on the middle class. 7 years ago, Democrats imposed it on our country. In the years since, Americans have found themselves at the mercy of its failures repeatedly. Choice was supposed to go up, but it plummeted. Costs were supposed to go down, they skyrocketed. Obamacare's defenders spent years trying to deny these clear realities. When the weight of the evidence became too clear to ignore, some appeared to bemoan Obamacare's harmful impact on our country. The Democratic governor of Minnesota declared, quote, it was no longer affordable. President Clinton branded it the craziest thing in the world. Other Democrats said similar things. Such acknowledgments of the obvious seemed to many of us like progress, but they turned out to be just rhetoric. In the last election, voters delivered Congress the opportunity to finally address the Obamacare status quo. And yet Democrats made clear early on that they did not want to work with us in a serious bipartisan way to actually do so. I wish they'd made a different choice. I wish their sudden calls for bipartisanship now were even somewhat serious. But this is the reality before us. We must accept it, because that's where we are. And as my Republicans know, this is the charge we must accept as well. The American people are looking to us for a better way. That's why, despite the headwinds, I chose to keep working toward a better solution than Obamacare. I've seen the pain in the eyes of too many of my constituents because of this law. I think they deserve better than what Obamacare has given them, and I hope in the end that a majority of the Senate will agree. We've been continuing with ongoing conversations across the conference about how to get there. Members shared significant input over the state work period. We're going to keep working very hard on this. We'll continue to focus on the fundamentals that have guided the process from the start, like improving the affordability of health insurance, stabilizing collapsing insurance markets before they leave even more Americans without any options at all. We also want to strengthen Medicaid for those who need it most by giving states more flexibility while ensuring those who rely on the program don't have the rug pulled out from under them. Many states want the ability to reform their Medicaid programs so they can actually deliver better care at a lower cost. Under current law, states have some ability to do so. Indiana, for example, has launched a particularly notable effort thanks to the leadership of now CMS Director Seema Verma, and Ms. Verma has also helped states like Kentucky develop their own plans. But the process is still too restrictive, it hinders broader innovation, and it's very slow. Kentucky's plan, for instance, still has not been approved by the federal government. The Senate health care legislation contains a provision to dramatically expand a state's authority to improve its Medicaid system. It's an idea that could significantly improve health care in states across the country. As the Wall Street Journal wrote in a recent editorial, this booster shot of federalism could become the greatest evolution of federal power to the states in the modern era. It could launch a burst of state innovation. The journal further went on, introducing many competing healthcare models across the country would be healthy. California and South Carolina don't and shouldn't have to follow one uniform prototype designed in Washington, and even a state as large as California doesn't have the same needs from region to region within the state. If nothing else, the repeal and replace debate has shown that liberals, conservatives, and centrists have different health care priorities, and allowing different approaches and experimentation would be politically therapeutic. The more innovative can become examples to those that stay heavily regulated. It's clear we have an important opportunity to achieve positive things for our country. It's also clear that if we let this opportunity pass by, the options left are not good ones. Senate Democratic leader acknowledges that Obamacare isn't working the way they promised, but his solution, as he noted in a statement last week, is simply more money for insurance companies. His solution would be an insurance company bailout. No reforms, no changes, just more money to paper over the problems under the current law. It's a multi-billion-dollar Band-Aid, not a real solution. Now, Senator Sanders acknowledges that Obamacare isn't working too, but his solution, as he stated in my state over the weekend, is to move to the kind of fully government-run single-payer system that was already abandoned in his home state of Vermont, that 80% of the voters recently rejected in Colorado, and that even the California legislature and its huge Democratic majority is finding rather hard to swallow. Is it any wonder? The so-called single-payer plan Senator Sanders proposed in his presidential campaign would strip Americans of so many facets of decision-making over their own health care and literally hand it over to the government. It would require almost unimaginably high tax increases, unimaginably high. And the cost, according to a recent analysis by the Urban Institute, stands at an astonishing, listen to this, Mr. President, $32 trillion. That's trillion with a T. That represents a greater sum than the entire economy of the most populous nation on earth, China. More than Japan's economy, too, and Germany's, and Britain's, and France's. Same with Italy's, Brazil's, India's, and Canada's. In fact, the cost of Senator Sanders' health care plan is projected to be roughly equal to the size of all 9 of those countries' economies combined. It would total more than the entire economy of the European Union, twice over. If you laid out 32 trillion $1 bills end to end, they'd stretch from the Earth to Neptune. It took Voyager 2 spacecraft 12 years to reach Neptune. Well, that's the government-run single-payer plan put forward by the most famous proponent of the idea. Many in the Senate Democratic leadership now support single-payer too. And these days, increasing numbers on the left seem to openly comment on the failures of Obamacare as if they see an opportunity, actually, an opportunity to finally realize their left-wing dream of total government dominance of the healthcare system. That's the dream of many on the other side in this body. That, Mr. President, will not happen if we succeed in our charge today. Americans deserve better than what they're getting under Obamacare. They deserve better than what they're getting they deserve better than what they'd get under an even more government-heavy system than we have now. They also deserve better than a Band-Aid solution. The people we represent deserve more affordable health insurance. They deserve improved health care choice. They deserve a more flexible Medicaid system that can help improve outcomes for those truly in need. They deserve a more responsive health care market that trusts the American people to make more of their own choices, not the government. That's what we've been fighting for throughout this debate. That's what we're going to keep fighting for today.